So, what we got to do is we got to figure out here where in the sky we want our phthalo green and our purple. So let me just come up here, and I'm just loading this paintbrush up. You notice here I got paint all across the top here. You beat it in there so it's a nice even distribution. Grab some, beat it in, and you're good to go. So the idea here is just going to wipe the paint off, and it's very tough to see. It is very tough to see where you get it, and a lot of this comes with practice. I can feel it. I can see it a little better than you can. I can feel it. The resistance. So I know where most of this paint is going. I'm just going to clean my brush down here. Deposit some of that green down there. Clean the brush. Yeah, this is a very interesting green. Not quite Kmart teal, but you can make that color just by throwing a little bit of the phthalo blue. When you use some of the phthalo green for trees, ooh, Nelly, they look really good. Some of this purple, again, it's going to look black. The more you work it, you're just going to start pulling paint off. So practice with it, and you'll get the feel for how much of the purple to put on. I'm going to sort of ring this with the purple. Maybe, I'll tell you what, I just changed my mind. Let's have a little bit of green right there. And then a little purple here. Okay, a little green maybe right there. And then some of this purple down here. We might have some water, right? So it'd be interesting to have some of that purple reflected in there. There we go. What a mess. Let me clean my brush again. Well, you know, I don't know what the deal is. I just appreciate the enthusiasm, but I can't really control too much in the chat. But the great thing about the Bob Ross streams that I do here, there's little to none, like 0.00001% of bad comments. So I really appreciate you guys all being nice and friendly with me and the other streamers, the other commenters and viewers. I appreciate it. Here we are. We're at minute 110. Holy macaroni. We're working on 2 hours. If I remember my math right. So, let us do some Bob Ross style Northern Light columns and so forth. We need an old ratty fan brush. Old ratty fan brush. I'm going to load this fan brush with some titanium white, the thick white. And we're going to make, let's have a little thing kind of coming off over here. And over here, we got another one of these columns that kind of meander off into the distance, and maybe something like that. So the idea here is we want a nice little deposit of this chunky white paint. Not too much, but some. And it all depends. This all depends on you. How much paint did you put on beforehand? How much liquid clear is on there? How much white do you put on there? Every time you do this, all those variables are going to change up what the actual painting is going to look like. So here we go. I want to take off some of this white. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flick. I touch right below the line and I flick up. We just want to take off the excess color, just to start these little columns of light. Just flicking up, trying to keep the same angle on all of them. That's what I'm trying to do. You don't have to. I'm just trying to keep the same angle. All right. Are we ready? Are we ready? Now what we're going to do is make these full strokes here and start stretching these up. Okay, and there we go. Now my view is like 2 minutes behind, so what I want to do is I want to strengthen some of these. So I can come back and just throw a little bit more white here and there. And grow these as much as I want them to be. You know, I think how I did this, I'm gonna need another one. I could feel a big, thick area of paint there. What do you think? Well, take it easy. Thank you so much. If you're leaving there, Pennywise, take care. Alright, what I'm going to do, I'm going to refresh this a little bit. I'm sure everything is fine, but I'm like 2 minutes behind on my view. It freaks me out. There we go. Alright, so just pulling that out. Alright, we gotta have some stars in there, don't we? Let's do it. Let's try this. A little bit of the liquid clear and a little bit of the titanium white. Take our knife, hold it flat, and then taking our brush, we just flick and move, flick and move. Again, this all depends on how much paint you have, how thick it is, how hard you flick. Try not to do too much in the brush. You'll start throwing like little splotches rather than dots. There we go. So maybe, as Bob likes to say, maybe there's a planet back there. So I'm going to take the end of my brush, I just dipped it in some red and some white. Maybe, dink, there's Jupiter or something like that. Ooh, that's a little much. You can have like a little, bink, a big one there. All right. No, you've never seen that before? It looks pretty cool. Let me see if I can just tilt that forward. Maybe you guys can see that a little better. I don't know, I guess that was about it. But yeah, it looks a lot better than what I'm looking at here. So, couple little planets. Let's go ahead. Well, you guys saw this before, so this is going to be. I'm going to go a little bit quicker here. Let's put a little mountain in. Arctic mountain. But you see, once you put the stars on there, you're kind of locked in. You can't mess with the sky anymore. You can't change things up or want to put in like misty moon clouds or something. It's about all you got right there. So we need to make a nice dark color. You know what? I might just break out the old mountain mix here. Mountain mix is all the dark colors that I used before, all in one tube. So we save a little time painting and teaching. Just use the mountain mix rather than having to give students 4 different colors to mix. So, you know, just to be the shameless self-promoter here, no tip jar, but if you are interested in some kind of private lesson or things, I do Zoom classes online and teach you guys how to paint. I can get you help with supplies, and we'll just paint together, you and me. You pick the painting, and we do it one-on-one private lessons. So feel free to get in touch with me should that interest you. Probably should have done that when there were 6,000 people on, but whatever. Whatever. Never said I was a great businessman. All right, let's go ahead and let's have a nice big old mountain over here. And this time we're not going to get too deep in the weeds with it here. I'm just going to move quickly. Trying to figure out a perfect time to ask my wife to go grab me a drink. She's behind me playing her Sims, oblivious. Very supporting of my painting, but she does like her Sims too. I guess that would be Sims 3. Sims as well, her Sims 3. So putting in some of this dark color here, scraping off the excess. Look at this, we're even going to get a little bit of that purple and green in there. And well, let's put a nice little secondary peak right there. Scrape off all that excess. Thanks, Neutral. You're pretty cool. Well, Dino Rorsis, I tried to get her into Sims 4, but she wasn't. There's only like 98,000 like downloadable content. What is that? DL? Downloaded content? DLC. My God. So she likes her Sims 3. And I like painting. So we get along. So I'm just going to take this, and you might have a hard time. Again, I'm so sorry. With this setup here, it's going to look awfully black to you. Hopefully a little bit of shine comes through and you're able to see kind of the build out of this mountain. Pulling to the right, pulling to the left, highlights and shadows. All right. Yeah, there you go. You can see in there in the shine what we're going for. Now, one of my fellow CRIs that I was razzing before, he does his mountains different than mine. But he likes throwing color in there too. He likes throwing a lot of color in there. So look at that. A little bit of green, a little bit of purple, maybe a little bit lighter color. I don't know. We're going to try it. I'm going to branch out and try different things as well here. A little bit of green, a little bit of purple. And let's just throw a little snow off that small little peak there. And then this one. Now it's going to actually pick up a little bit of the undercolor, so I got a little bit of undercolor there. A little bit of green there too. So just sort of follow along some of this little pathway that I created. And just start pulling some of this out. Let the chips fall where they may. All right. Now let's get a nice bluey, purpley shadow color. So I'm going to grab a little bit more of the blue, a little bit more of the purple. Mix this down a little bit darker, a little bit darker. There we go. Sometimes I struggle with trying to go too subtle, and sometimes you just gotta load it up. So let's go ahead and just throw in a little. And once you get the shadow on there, you can come back here, and I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. I want a little bit more of the highlight poking over the shadow. You don't want the shadow on top of the highlight. So I just throw a little bit in there. Come back here, maybe a little bit of bright white. Something like that. Maybe there we go. Quick little mountain. Yeah, you know, now I was just looking at Twitch. Twitch has changed so much since when I was doing live streaming on there. It's pretty crazy, all the different things you can pay, and there's like coins. I haven't quite figured it out. Like not just like subscription coins or money coins, but now there's like coins where you can have your text be highlighted. I don't know how that works. Feel free to school me. I think we just about got it here. Maybe there's a little bit more right there. That's where we needed it. Now, let's go ahead and clean this old brush. Very dry. That liquid clear and the paint thinner do not have a normal reaction there. It can make some weird effects, so always make sure to, when you're blending, get that brush really dry. Look at this. We don't need to stretch this mountain out. Creating all these little effects. Look at all this reflected light right here at the base of the mountain. Tap, tap, sweep, sweep. Tap, tap, sweep, sweep. Alright, I'll tell you what, we're going to have to do it sometime here. We're going to get some titanium white on our 2-inch brush, and we're just going to touch and pull. Touch and pull, touch and pull. As long as you do it straight down, that's where it's going to look the best. As I come out, I'm going to make these a little bit longer and not as bright. As I pull these straight down, you see these little vertical lines, that's what's going to give that reflected look. I'm going to get a clean, dry brush. Let me clean that guy again. Now we can come up here and pull that down. See that? Bend the bristles, pull it down. It's very tough to blend when you got the full of paint, the brush full of paint. So you clean the brush, then you pull it straight down. And now, to set everything off, you just very gently go across, and that creates an incredibly effective blur. There we go. Something like that. Kind of creates the idea of the reflection in there. Alright, so what are we doing? We're going to put in a little bit of our background color. I think we got a whole bunch here. Blues and bluish purple and all sorts of different stuff here. And we're going to create a little foothill. We're just going to tap, tap, tap it in firmly with some authority. We tap some paint on the brush, tap some paint off. Tap some paint on, tap some paint off. And that sort of covers up the start of our reflection. Look at this, we can have another foothill. Maybe it's the same foothill. Cover that right up. Further down the canvas you do it, the closer everything is going to start looking. So right now we can still play around and still think that this is kind of far away, or it can just be right up close to us. No, I don't do animals. Bob does offer, the Bob Ross Company does offer a wildlife certification course. That's just not my thing. I did do one wildlife at our instructor reunion we have. There were some free classes there, so I did a snowy owl. If again we got some time left, I'd be glad to show it to you. Hey, if now that you're looking and possibly can hear me, there is a can of beverage in the fridge. Would you mind grabbing it? She did not. She's doing it, but I think she minds. I thank you. Oh, she's smiling. Okay, I checked. She is smiling. So I did this one here. You notice how this one doesn't come down as far as this one? Again, you don't need symmetry. Actually, asymmetry works better. All right. Now, if I'd like, I can grab some of that and pull that just a wee bit down. Okay. All right. I gotta grab a drink here. A jar of olives. That's not very thirst quenching. All right. A can of carbonated water. Oh boy. Add some carbonated water. All right, yet again, let's clean this brush. Tiny cabin. Well, we did a cabin. We just did a cabin. Snow, right? We're supposed to have some snow. Well, we're doing some interesting type snow today. Kind of the spotty snow. This nighttime snow. Far away, snow-kissed foothills snow. So I'm just going to take my 2-inch brush here and just very gently tap. Just touch. That's it. Sort of dab off the excess and come right back to the snowy snow again. Super bright. Let's just take it. The more you mess with it, the tougher it gets. Okay. Something along the lines like that. Okay. Clean it up by pulling a little bit of that reflected snow down. Now, I'm going to come in here straight titanium white. Create a little water line there, right at the base, right where the land meets the water. Come back, tap in a little bit brightness right there, here and there. A little bit of bravery test right there. The person below you is playing a banjo. I wonder if I could make a tiny cabin. Would you want to see a baby cabin? The tiny, super tiniest cabin you could ever possibly imagine? Thanks, dinos. You stepped, I remember you leaving. I remember you. Wow, we really dumped down. How does it go all the way down to 100? The doggone algorithm, I tell you. Let's see about a tiny cabin. Right up on the top of a hill. We're going to use the small knife for this guy. Something like that. Oh, it automatically got bigger just by doing that. Little tiny cabin on the shores. I'm just using the blue background color there. See if I can't toss a little bit of color in there. There we go. Now, let's see, a little bit of the dark sienna, I think, and a little bit of white. Or maybe just blue and white. What should I do for a highlight color here? Maybe an old abandoned cabin there. Sometimes that blue-gray look to it. There's some like bluish gray. Look like old boards, weathered. And then something a wee bit darker. On this side. Okay, then I think we got to have a nice snowy roof here. So let's line up our knife here and get a nice roll of paint. And we're just going to touch. Whoop. Touch. There we go. And then a tiny bit, use a tiny bit of liquid clear just to thin some of this white down. There we go. Look at that. That was a perfect touch. Well, that was the $100 I said for that last painting. That was an old painting from a couple of years ago that my daughter threw some acrylic paint on top. That one was a little bit cheaper. Now my prices are a little bit higher than that. If you're looking for a commission or one of my older paintings, feel free to get in touch with me. I think my paintings are pretty reasonable. I also have an issue devaluing my own work, so much to your advantage. I've sold paintings for various prices, so feel free to DM me. Look at my Instagram at I'mTedSim, and let me know if there's one that strikes your fancy there. Let me just put on a little door. We can't forget the door. Oh boy, that door is almost a barn now. There we go. Let's see, a little liquid clear, get some of that titanium white. Outline of the door. All right, cabinectomy. There we go. Now what I'll do, just to be fancy pants, get a little bit of the liquid white. Instead of using the 2-inch brush, I'll just use the fan brush here. Get some of this, and I can just sort of fill in the area right below the cabin. Just fill it in, chop it in. Look at that, baby cabin. Baby cabin. Ooh. See something I want to fix, and it's going to kill me unless I try, so. There, just like that. Just needed a little bit more. There it is. Just had to like nip off that snow there. It's actually a pretty good cabin. And the experience I've had making cabins, I know which ones are good or which ones are bad. That's a pretty good one for me. Let's see. Sorry. How much would this one be? I don't know. 150 plus shipping. As long as you aren't in like Mazatlan or something, I should be relatively cheap shipping. I'm in Michigan. Shipping out to the lower 48's not too bad. Well, you know, a little boat on the water near the cabin with a lantern. I do like cabins with, or boats with lanterns on them, believe it or not. But I think we're going to hold off on that there. I could do a series of small trees, but I think that would sort of block all this cool reflection. So, what do you think? You know, I think we might call this one done, and maybe I could pop in, like I said, oh my god, you guys gave me so much time. Maybe do you think I should stop the stream and start a new one so we can get more viewers? Is the algorithm dead? And it only like resets when I do a new stream? Well, you know what? Oh, well, no falling stars. We can't do that. Put a little light. All right, I'll tell you what. I ran out of yellow, but I got some yellow right here. I'll do one crazy suggestion. Putting a yellow, how about a little yellow window right there? Well, I'll tell you what. Oh, I got to get a little background color first. Let's just say that window is right there. Ooh, that's a big window. See, I done screwed it up now. You might not be able to see that. It's a nice border right around the window there. And here you are. Let me get all fancy again. A little reflected light on the snow. Oh, Nelly. Look at that. My first reflected yellow light and snow. I'll tell you what, one last thing, if I'm getting crazy here, wonder if I could put a little T right in front, right on top of that window. There it is. A little, not a T, but a little split window. I like that. So, let me get my liner brush, a little paint thinner. Oh, paint thinner right into the liquid clear. That was not a good idea. Oh boy, let me dry that. Let me try it again. Little white, little liquid clear, a little bit of brown in it apparently. Well, let's just sign this one over here. Nice little T, nice little S, a little 2, and a 1.